Okay, you guys are ready for your quiz. So this is me working out the practice quiz over 7.1 to 7.4. It's all the different rules we've learned about exponents. So hopefully you've already done this and you're just checking your work and you're seeing how you did. So let's simplify each expression. Number one, this has a negative, this also has a negative, can't have that. So they're both gonna flip to the bottom under a 1. And they're going to become positive. I didn't put my 5 to the positive 1 because that's just the same thing. 3 squared is 9, so it's like 5 times 9 on the bottom. Remember, you have to do order of operations, so you can't do 5 times 3 squared. It has to be 3 squared times 5, so 9 times 5. So the final answer would be 1/45. Okay, on the second one, I automatically look at anything to the 0 power and cancel it out because that's just going to be 1. And so it's just going to be 1 times anything, which is just whatever. Each of these other 3 terms is its own term. M is fine up top. It does not need to move. There's nothing wrong with M. So I'm going to leave M up top. N to the -4th, though, we can't have, so it's going to flip to the bottom and become N to the +4th. And then q squared to the -2 on the bottom is going to become q squared on the positive up top after we move it. So it's going to be like this. And just because this looks messy, I mean, this is the final answer, but I'm just going to rewrite it. mq squared over n to the 4th. Okay. Number 3, there's nothing wrong with this 3. The x to the -4 is its own term, and that's the problem. So 3 is going to stay where it's at up top, and we're going to move the x to the 4th to the bottom, and now it's going to be positive because it has flipped to the bottom. All right, number 4, t to the 3, there's nothing wrong with it, but there is a problem with d to the -4th. So t to the 3rd is going to stay up top, and d to the -4th is going to be brought down to the bottom, and now it's going to be +4. Excuse me. Okay, number 5, that's going to be 1, so I'm going to cross it out. S to the -2 is going to go flip to the bottom. T squared is going to stay put. S now is +2 at the bottom. Okay, number 6, you can go ahead and multiply these numbers that are out front, so that would be 6. X's are the same base, so their exponents can get added. 5 plus -2 is -3, so it's +3. So x to the 3rd. So that's it. 6x to the 3rd. Number 7, I see a b to the 0. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel that out because that's going to be 1. A and A are the same bases, so we can add their exponents. 2 plus -3 is a to the -1. Can't have -1, so it's going to flip to the bottom under a 1 and become a +1, but you don't really need it. That's more simplified just to leave it off. All right, number 8. The 6 and the 5 can go ahead and get multiplied. 6 times 5 is 30. X and X are the same base. This is a -1, and this is a hidden, invisible +1, so we can add their exponents. -1 plus +1 is 0, and x to the 0 is just 1, so we don't even need x. It's just completely 1. 30 times 1 is just 30. Number 9, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the numbers that are in front. So 2 times -4 times 3. 2 times -4 times 3 is -24. Okay, and then you've got y's that are the same base, so you can add 2 plus 0 plus 1. Don't forget that's a 1 there, so that's just going to be gone. 2 plus 1 is 3. Y to the 3rd, y to the 3rd power, and that's good. Okay, 10 is super easy. Same base. That means their exponents get added. A to the 6th. Number 11 is when we start doing power to a power. So that is when these exponents get multiplied to every single thing inside the parentheses. So x squared to the 4th is going to be x to the 8th. And y to the third raised to the fourth is going to be y to the 12th. Okay. This is a little bit more. You can't just multiply the numbers out front because it's raised to another power. So this exponent goes to the 3 and to the t to the second. This negative 3 is going to go to the 2 and to the t to the 0. So 3 gets the 2 squared. T to the second again gets multiplied, so that's t to the fourth. 2 gets to the negative 3, and then t also gets, okay, I'm just going to write it. 0 times negative 3 is just 0, but we're not going to care about that because anything to the 0 power is just 1. So let's look at what we have. This 3 to the second is fine. It can stay put. T to the fourth, fine. Leave it alone. But this 2 to the negative third is going to need to go to the bottom and become 2 to the positive third now. And now we would be done, but I do want you to simplify all the way. So tell me what 3 squared is and tell me what 2 to the third is, and then you're done. So 3 squared is 9, t to the fourth, over 2 times 2 times 2, I believe is 8. That one was a little tricky. 13 is super easy. It'll make up for it. Power to a power gets multiplied, a to the 12th. 14 also makes up for it. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. 15, the 2 goes to the x and to the y to the third and to the z to the fifth. So that'd be x squared, y to the 6th when you multiply, z to the 10th when you multiply. All right, last row is about division. I hope you remember that when you divide numbers that have the same base, you can subtract. So 7 is there. I'm just going to leave it there. But the b's are the same base, so we can subtract 6 minus 4, which is b to the second. A to the fourth over a to the sixth are the same basis, so you can subtract since they're dividing. So that would be a to the negative 2. But you can't have a negative on top, so we're going to flip it to the bottom and make it positive under a 1. Okay, 18. All right, I told you guys this before, but anytime you have just a number on the top and bottom of a division problem, go ahead and simplify them. 6 over 3 is the same thing as 6 divided by 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Or if you're dividing them each by 3, you have a 2 and a 1. But really 1 on the bottom doesn't really matter. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, or 2 over 1. X and x, they're the same base, so they can get subtracted, they're exponents. So that would be 2, and then when you subtract this is x to the third. You don't really need it over the 1 there because that's more simplified to just leave it off. Okay, 19. Again, forget your C's and D's for just a second, and let's look at the fraction you have of just numbers. You have negative 25 divided by 5. So what is negative 25 divided by 5? It is negative 5. Or if you want to put it over 1, that's fine, but this is going to simplify to negative 5 over 1. Okay, now let's look at your C's and D's. C's are the same base, so you can subtract 3 minus, this is a hidden invisible 1 in here, so that would be c squared. And then d's are also the same base. You can subtract 6 minus 2 would be d to the fourth. And so really we don't need this over 1 on the bottom because that's all that's left on the bottom. So our final answer is just negative 5 c squared d to the fourth. All right, and then the very last one, again, look at your fraction of your numbers and see what you can simplify first. 12 over 24 is 1/2. 12 is half of 24, so 1/2. So 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So this is 1 over 2. Okay, and then the s's can get subtracted. 4 minus 3 is 1. So s to the 1, you don't even really need to have the 1. I'll take that off here in a minute. And then the t's, you have -1 minus 2. -1 minus 2 is -3. So you have t to the -3. Okay, let's put this all together. I'm not going to use my 1 up top because we've got other stuff. So you've got s t to the -3 over 2. Okay, and the problem is you can't have a negative exponent, so we're going to flip it to the bottom and make it positive, but the s is going to stay put. So it's going to be s up top, 2t to the +3 on the bottom.